Is this an accident in town?
I know.
No.
It happened at Petoskey
When you got a brick wall.
over on 31.
Similar side impact, but they don't use a truck.
And it's a sports car, it was a smaller, lower level.
Oh, yeah.
It's
county. Up here, I think Petoskey has had at least 3, if not 4,
New Orleans has
in the last 6 months. Yeah, there was one on Pickerel Lake Road.
Okay.
On Chapatoulas.
That's one on 31.
Right.
I think there were 2 on Pickerel.
Cruising downtown.
And I think there was one other that I'm not.
You don't see the, not that tractor trailer.
They've had a few, and they're actually gonna be putting in a stoplight, full stoplight on Pickerel Road.
Oh, yeah, that's always in the beds.
They're
Good evening. Just the great. We're doing day by day.
I brought a sweater. I knew I needed a sweater in here.
Yeah,
I grabbed it.
good for you.
Sweater.
Oh, yeah, he was.
That's what he
He's the
said.
most trained guy we know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How are you?
Good.
I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
Hold on.
Yeah, it's the picture to the agenda. I don't want to call
Well, I understand the problem they have, they're shutting down hospitals.
I do. Want to do that one again?
If you want to do that when it's your turn, I'll get that when you're ready to start speaking. We can set stuff out there. If you want to give me my hat, you could probably hand it out now.
So they want that, you notice how they.
There's the. Overlay.
I mean, where else? Yes, yeah, thanks. I couldn't get to those meetings. Okay, thank you. I know about it for 7 weeks, but that's weird. I'm not supposed to, okay. Okay.
So a letter for you.
I don't know if you
Made changes. Letter from benchmarks. So you also. Builder. And he's.
Okay.
And then just.
Where you came. That's fine, and that's, so, other than the master deed, that's all. Yeah. Okay, great. And there's a condition of 6 members to manage the base, so. Yeah, if you want to pass that. No, just.
Regarding the Pine Street lots, but I'll go. But I just.
And get it. in the-
Yeah, there's no email.
Yeah, I see it needs to be, that's fine. I'll just get it in the mailbox.
I don't know.
Oh, hi, these are just some supporting documents when I talk about Pine Street.
Okay,
lots.
all right, thank you.
Well, how was your coffee?
Ready to roll. Put some more paper.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. We're going to cut that out of the tree.
Yeah. I'm very, you know, and fortunately, I didn't tell Jeff I was leaving, so Jeff had to hunt me down today.
We're so close. It's like, oh, we need that extra body. Where does it have that?
Yeah, no, it's supposed to end in the T.
They forget that meeting Thursday, though. Oh, now that.
And we are getting very,
He said he would be here.
Yes.
We need 5 people for a quorum, but we need 6 people to act on a special land use. We got a special land use on the agenda.
right.
He said he would be there.
I think house bride. It's just another enclave in the branch.
I feel like.
Well, why don't you just switch spots? You want to switch spots?
Yeah. I don't.
Right.
Cause I went back and looked. And
Be a little more cozy.
yeah, the original ones are closed.
Whether on the agenda. Yeah, they're well. When you did the Harbor Point, it'll see the goal, Harbor Point. Yeah. There's the whole Harbor Club, and I think there's a below that, there's a.
I watched it. There we go. I know, I had to look at yeah, but maybe. Yeah. I just don't like it. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, I saw it. I just don't like any for lost.
Yeah.
You're going. I'm gonna.
Mark Day and Bill Mulder are both on.
Oh, I see.
Where's your mask?
Yeah. And then they.
I know.
Internet there.
Yeah. Should be fun. I actually.
If you go over wireless.
Morning. No, I think I sound this.
Yeah, that's why we had.
So I'm here. I'm not.
How can there possibly be anything?
So I'm.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I just usually see.
Just a couple things.
Yeah. I found this, but I had to miss. Like,
Yes, boys. We tried. We tried.
council too. How do you show you?
Yes. Every slide. Yes.
This year is like.
Yes, sir.
I think it costs.
I bet you Jim's trying to. So that one.
Very steady. Very steady. And once it's.
Yeah, right.
We got to 4.3 this year and.
I'm gonna get Barry a call.
Yeah, he said he was coming back.
Should have read it.
It's in her, they don't care.
Well, we could. Yeah, I mean, we could kick it down to the end and wait till maybe Barry shows up. We could certainly hit A and maybe he'll be here.
We can try to do that, yeah. And hope he shows up. But it is 5:30, so I'll take a roll.
Okay,
Rick Tarczynski. Here. Vanessa Warren,
here.
Bob Thoma. Here. Nancy Rondell.
Here.
Oh, I'm sorry, Emily.
Hi.
Emily Dubay.
I'm here.
All right, so we have 5, we have a quorum.
Okay.
Amanda, so it requires a 2/3 majority of the full board, which is 6 votes to pass a special land use. If Barry shows up, he said he would be here, that we'll be able to take action. Otherwise, we would have to move that to the next meeting. I apologize. The other thing is, Bill Mulder is not here tonight. He is on Zoom. He can participate in discussion, but he doesn't count towards a quorum or a vote. Mark Boudet is also there. That is our chair and our co-chair. So we do need to elect a temporary chair to host tonight's meeting, if anybody would like to take on that role.
I'll volunteer to take on that role.
You'll volunteer? Do we have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Vanessa, thank you for hosting the meeting for us tonight.
Okay, ready to go. So we have a huge agenda, so let's get moving as quickly as we can. So hopefully everybody's had an opportunity to take a look at the minutes. Could I have a motion to approve the minutes of August 17th?
So moved.
I'll second that. Okay. Any comments about the minutes?
No.
Great. Questions, concerns? All right, all those in favor of approving the minutes of August 17th? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that passes. Okay, public comment, and correspondence. So should we hit the correspondence first?
Yeah, if you wanna, whichever you wanna do, the written or the in-person here.
Okay, so, public comment is an opportunity for folks of the public to have an opportunity to speak on something that is not on the agenda. Does anybody have anything that they wish to share with us that is not on the agenda tonight?
And for
Can I
anybody.
make a request? Hello?
Yep, go ahead.
Hi, this
Hi,
is
Mark.
Mark. Hi, guys.
Oh.
Sorry I can't be there. I'm in a rather remote site and I'm not sure how long I can stay on this meeting. If it's possible to move the site plan review for the Harbor Master building up, I'd appreciate it. If not, I'd like to make some comments in case I lose my connection.
Okay,
We can certainly do that if we want to swap the place of the special land use and
Sure.
harbor master building to give Barry more time to get here. in case
Sounds
it's running
great.
late.
okay, so Mark, we're gonna put you in the B slot.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And for anybody online that would like to comment, if they're muted, there is an icon that looks like a hand. You could raise your hand, and that'll notify me to let them know you want to speak.
So is there anyone online that would like to speak about something that is not on the agenda tonight? Okay. Okay, correspondence. There was a correspondence that Jeff sent out to us that was regarding vegetation clearing of the bluff.
Yep, so we received an email that came into Victor and I at City Hall regarding vegetation management along the bluff from property owners along 3rd Street. Basically requesting that we look into potentially including language in the zoning code. So if that's something that we want to discuss or have put on the agenda at a future meeting, or have the subcommittee look into for inclusion in the zoning rewrite that we're doing, we could do that if you're so inclined to further pursue that based on this correspondence we received.
Any thoughts from the group that we feel?
Is that something that we should be taking on, or is that something that should go to council?
Well, I guess it depends on where we want to have it. If this is something that you feel should be addressed in the zoning code as a zoning regulation, that would be something that we would take on. Ultimately, zoning code recommendations, if we're going to include in the code, have to go to city council for approval anyway. Or if we feel that this is something that could be better addressed in the city code, then that would be something that we maybe could still offer our opinions on, but would again be a discussion for city council. Right now, we do have a vegetation management policy that affects city-owned properties. And it's an opportunity for the public to ask for that vegetation to be managed and maintained. This is basically what I gather from this is a request that we would extend that vegetation management to include privately owned properties along the bluff.
Because I think we need to do something. I mean, what was done in that location is horrible. It looks like a mess from the bottom, and I don't think it improved their view up on the bluff. It's, you know, an open view like that is not good without something in the foreground to make it look good. And it looks bad. So I think we need to do something one way or the other. And I think we need to do it in the direction that has the most teeth, if that's through city code, as opposed to something in the zoning code.
Where's the other vegetation management? Is it just a standalone ordinance, or is it in one of
The
the?
vegetation management right now is in the city code.
I think it probably makes sense for the other one, if we're gonna do anything. To me, it would belong in the same spot. I don't think it would belong in the zoning code if the other one's in the city code. That doesn't make sense to me, but that's just my thought. So that means it belongs in council as opposed to plan. But I don't, that's just my own thought.
I'm certainly concerned and I'm interested in this whole debacle. And I don't know whether we're the right people or not, but if we're not, we should certainly talk about this and send a recommendation from the planning commission to city council requesting that they act. Yada, yada,
If we feel that the city code's the right spot.
or the slaughter will continue.
I think we should put it on the agenda for nothing.
I think that would be best. That
Yeah.
way we can advertise on the agenda that it's something to be discussed.
Perfect.
People in the community can have an opportunity to participate. So we'll look at including this on maybe next month's agenda,
That would be
depending on how many
wonderful.
items we have on there.
Yes,
Okay. We can certainly do that.
great. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, we're gonna welcome John. We're gonna move on to new and old business. The lot split, the Claridge Court condominiums. There we go. Also, we have some handouts here. We have someone here to speak.
Yeah, were you gonna
Yeah.
introduce it again, or?
Sure, so just a refresher for those that may not have been on the planning commission, I think it was about a year and a half ago when this first came to our attention. The process for a lot split of this nature, where we have more than 3 or 4 parcels, is that it would come to 2 meetings at the planning commission. The first meeting was an introductory to discuss the idea, identify some of the key issues that we wanted to make sure that they addressed. In that plan, originally there was the road going to these properties ended in a cul-de-sac. And one of our thoughts and concerns was proximity to the floodplain that's there. And so we asked if they would consider revising their plan to, instead of being a cul-de-sac, being a T intersection, which would allow to pull those properties farther away, and they did make that change. They have their master deed documents, their bylaws, and several maps here showing what the parcels will look like. This would be our opportunity to provide a final review and approve or not approve, or approve with conditions. Or if we really feel that we need more information, we could table it pending more information. John has provided a good review identifying some things, and then Denise and her husband have provided some follow-up information today to answer some of the concerns that John noted in his review. But I'll stop speaking and I'll let Denise take over and explain what they want to do.
Hi, I'm Denise, we work here, so this is the supporting documents that I've gotten together for today. I met with, my husband and I met with Jeff on Monday to go over John's letter and notes. And it gave me a little bit of time to go away and address some of the concerns. So in your packet, on the first page, he mentioned there was some verbiage still in the bylaws from our attorney, had done them for another site condominium project, and there was talk of preserving the view of Larks Lake. So he has removed that, and this is just an email stating he's made the changes requested. And there was also a concern about debris in the ravine, and making sure that everything flows in the event of a flood, because it's a floodplain. So we have put in master deed a section saying that it is the parcel owner's obligation to make sure that their section of the ravine is clear from debris. Then the other major concern was saying that it was unadvisable to build on lot 6. So they had to consult their engineer. I went back to Benchmark, who was our engineer, and the second email is just from them stating that they think it's suitable for a reasonable home. We thought it'd be helpful to give you the actual building envelope square footage. So unit 5 is 4,356 square feet. And unit 6 is 6,673 square feet. Then I also got a letter from the builder we plan on using, saying that he's comfortable with building on lot 6 and not asking for any variances. And then just to kind of give you, I printed off the site plan with a house, an example of a house. It's a 2,000 square foot house set into the building envelopes on those spots, except for 4 is a smaller one. Just to show you what that would kind of look like. The house there. And then I did try to take some pictures of lot 6, but it's hard because it's so big, you can't quite get all the 4. It is staked. If you want to go walk up there, the building envelope, there's 4 stakes to show you where we built it. So that's all I have. If you have any questions.
So Jeff, do we open it up to the folks and ask if they have any questions or comments?
So this is not, it's not a public hearing.
Right.
We can, of course, get feedback from the public, but the standards are different where with a public hearing and the.
We have to open it, we have to close it and so forth.
Right, this is not a public hearing. Mainly we're just, I think our main goal is to make sure that their plan meets all the requirements of the zoning code, that we're not creating lots that aren't buildable and that would immediately require a variance to be able to build on. And that they're preserving some of the characters that we've identified from the initial meeting. And, staying clear of the floodplain and things like that.
I have just a general question about condominiums, because I haven't really done a lot of this before. I read the condo docs, and some of the things in the condominium documentation talks about things that are not allowed within the city proper, as well as it's up to the developer to be able to measure the height of buildings and determine the final grade. So what my question is, like burning of vegetation, use of explosives, those kind of things are all in some of that information. If our rules are more restrictive in the city, then are those the rules that are followed? If there's, I just need some clarification about some of that.
Both rules have to be followed. But the governing body that enforces those rules are separate. So like, let's say that there's a difference in maximum height that's allowed.
Right.
Let's say that we allow 35 feet and an association allows 30 or 40 feet. They have to meet our regulation. And if they don't, we would enforce them not.
Okay.
Then they also have to meet the association's regulations, but it's up to the association to enforce that.
So like there's a clause in there about burning vegetation and using explosives to, do site preparation and stuff. But if we don't allow those in the city, then that would not be possible to do.
That's correct.
That's correct.
Okay. That's what I thought, and I just want to make sure.
Anyone have? Yes.
I have questions. What's the average size of these homes
18 to 2,200 square feet.
and the average price?
I haven't built it yet, so I can't really say.
Your document though says that it's a minimum of 2,500 square feet, not including garage and basement.
That's the maximum, I think. No,
I'm sorry, I thought I read minimum.
in the master deed? In the
Yeah.
bylaws? Okay.
I'm sorry if I misread it.
I thought it was a minimum of. I don't know, do you know what section?
No, I'm sorry.
It's okay, I did see that earlier and I saw a minimum and a maximum. But. We definitely don't plan on going over 2,500, so I can address that for sure and change it.
Does anyone else remember reading that?
I remember it, and I'm trying to find it.
I don't.
It seemed to me with their minimum.
I just wrote my notes, minimum, and maybe I just wrote it down wrong, but I had a minimum of 2,500 square feet, not including the garage, basement. And then there were some other things that weren't included.
Well, our house is only 7 plots, 4,000 square feet.
I'm not sure I have that in front of me, but I can look into it and make sure that it doesn't exceed 3,000.
There we go.
Hey, would you repeat? what
C,
you
the
just said,
minimum
please?
livable floor area for any dwelling is 2,500 square feet.
And it looks like this is on page 6 of the bylaws.
Okay.
The question on the sheet that you gave us today that has the pictures of proposed homes, that 2,000 square feet is that the footprint?
Yes.
So you could have a 2,500 square foot home if there was square footage on the second.
On the second.
On the second floor.
This gentleman had something that he,
What I basically said is if you look at the plan and you look at the lots. Our house is not a lot larger, the plot size of the other ones, if you look at 3 and 4, because they come through the thing, and our house is over 4,000 square feet. It was shown by looking at the plan, we're sort of half the size in a plot, which is the same size as we live in, just as a comparison, I'm just.
The existing house
The existing house we live-
is about 4,000.
As ours are
So if you
4,000.
compare that
If you
to
compare
that.
it to the other size plots, it's not,
which one
I
is
just
it?
try to give you an idea.
Is the existing house? on
Yeah.
The existing lot is on, the house is on 2.
We just want to make sure that the deed and the pictures are all speaking to one another, because there's some discrepancies.
It's tall, it's 3 stories.
So when we cut the garages off. We're just about the same size.
So is it not going to be a minimum? of 2,500?
I feel like your concern is that we're trying to put huge houses in here, and we're not.
I just want to make sure that
Yeah.
Bob's question is answered, because he just flat out asked what
Yeah.
the size of these things were gonna be.
Yeah.
That's not, it, that we're here for a lot split, so that's up to the, if
Yeah.
I sell the lots to different people, that's up to them to come and tell you.
But you're saying here in the
I just
rules of
showed
the
you.
condominium, they can't build anything less than
Right.
2,500 square feet.
Yes, that.
Are you- are you not going to be the person that develops this?
I don't know. I'm just asking for a lot split.
So you're asking to split these into 6 lots. That's
Correct.
what we're looking
That's
at.
what we're doing this here.
Correct.
Well, but we are approving the master deed and the bylaws, right?
Right.
This is where if we have anything that we feel is important to protect,
Yeah.
such as she did provide an updated draft of the master deed, and they did add in language regarding, because we had a question regarding the care of the floodplain areas of the
Right.
properties.
Right.
And so they did add in language stating that it was the responsibility of each of the property owners to maintain those and keep them, like, from debris from piling up in the floodplain. So if we can require that they include language in their master deed or their bylaws.
I think the association should be responsible for keeping that clean. Because if it turns into something expensive, the property owner's not gonna have it. As the association should be deep enough pockets to cover any trouble. I mean, building on that floodplain is iffy to me to begin with.
We have with some other planned development projects requested or required that the association itself be the one that we hold responsible for things. That way they have to police themselves and we only have one entity that we have to reach out and contact instead
I
of
think that is
multiple
a
property owners instead.
I would like to see that as a reason for us to approve it, that it would have to meet that requirement.
I don't have a problem with that.
And I have a question on page 7. Dealing with air conditioning and similar systems, that they have to be hidden. And I was just curious why they have to be hidden from Lark's Lake.
So we've addressed that. He's removed the verbiage of Lark's Lake.
Okay.
It is not it.
Because they have really good telescopes in Lark's Lake.
Nothing's visible from there, so anything goes.
Emily, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions, no.
Nancy, do you have any questions?
Well, this is a lot. There was so much information in this packet. I think showing the way these lots are, they're buildable, an awful lot of the area on a few of them is on the slope side. Which is a concern of mine, just the way, lot 6 is certainly the one that's the most concerning. But even lot 5, when you look at the buildable area, a lot of that is it's not in the floodplain, if I'm reading this right, right? But it is a lot on some pretty steep slopes in there. And I know that the builder has said that he can build on it, and I'm sure it is possible to build on it, but I just don't know what that means for that slope side. That's a real concern. On those lots.
Right? Can I answer that?
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm a developer from England and done 40 years in the trade.
Uh-huh.
And basically, the slope gives us the advantage. We like that it's got a slope because we want to dig it out and put a nice basement so you walk out and you're going to walk out in the woodlands. You're going to be where all the trees and critters and things are. And on the next floor up, you're going to have another balcony as well that you can sit in. And again, you're in the forest, not forest, sorry, woodlands. But that's part of the magic of it, is the fact that we're not going to put a house on a hill so full which is a lovely walkout with the trees around you, because we're not gonna remove all the trees, because we'd like some trees around the houses. But we wanna make a lovely job of it. We don't wanna make something that looks big and horrible and is gonna fall into the thing. That's why the contents of the land at the moment suits what we want to do. Because if we just stuck a house on the top of it, one day it might run away with the water. That's why I'm trying to give you my vision of what we want. Do
But
you know what
you
I
may
mean?
not develop it.
I beg your pardon?
You may not develop it.
Well, we might not develop it. Our first way would be to develop it, because we want to keep lot 6 or 5 for ourselves anyway. And then sell the big house, because as I said, a 4,000 square feet is a big house to keep looking, it's an older house. We'd rather move into one of the new lots. I just like to tell you that.
Jeff, could you please go to, and maybe you're there, I would like to have the graphic that has the utilities.
Oh, yes, just give me 1 minute here.
And and you passed it, right?
Did I?
Yeah, they're the utilities.
Oh.
Okay, and maybe nobody can address this. 8 inches is a little large for 6 residents, but I'll just say that maybe DEQ would want 8 inches.
8 inches for what?
For the water main,
Okay.
okay?
Yep.
It's dead ending. And that means that it is dead ending in 6, and it is not cycling back to Pine Street. Why? Water will get stagnant at 6, and they'll actually have better flow if they can get it up into Pine, and so it's a circle. So why are the utilities not looped?
From Lake, it does go to Pine.
It does go to Pine, but it does not go back up to Lake. It stops at 6. So you'd have better water quality. It's not going to be stagnant, and you would have better flow. So I've got a real water main issue with this design.
Clear or foul? Clear water or foul? Sorry,
No.
waste or
Yeah,
clean?
you're talking about, not the.
So what are you
You're
talking-
talking
sewer?
about-
Water, right,
Fresh water.
fresh water.
You're talking about-
Potable.
But it comes, does it come up with
I understood it comes from Lake and
Lake,
it goes down
yeah.
to Pine.
the only, I think it was
It's going
gas
through the
or,
middle of the street.
It's in the middle of the,
Yeah, it's up there and it comes down from Lake, goes out in front and then
it's only
down
electric
to
and
Pine.
flowers coming out.
what's going down the middle of the drive?
Isn't that the?
I can't read that, I'm sorry.
Come down a little. It's coming.
We're down the other
No,
other way.
can you go up?
There
There you go.
Tap in here, come down through and go out to Pine. Is that what you're saying? That's how I understand.
I'm only seeing,
I don't see,
No.
I see road grading.
I see road grading, but I do not see pipes.
But if you look at this line here,
There's
that
pipes.
is
Okay.
sanitary.
I know. Okay, so that needs to be flushed out. So not a big fan of this road. I know that we had problems with the cul-de-sac. I was one of the folks that was here at the time. The cul-de-sac took an enormous amount of space. And I know that we told them that we would like to see something else. But there's no turnaround here. Has the fire department taken a look at this and they're groovy with it? Okay, they're gonna have the people that live there, they're probably gonna have a lot of folks that are gonna turn around. There's just no way to get in and out without turning around in these drives. Is there language?
The T junction, so at the end, so the 6
But
drive.
that's 6 driveway.
Not really,
No.
it's
No?
part of the
No,
road.
no,
It's
it's
the
part of the
road.
road. It's road.
Yeah, there's no driveways drawn on there.
Okay, so they're gonna turn around there. Is there language in the utility easement that it's going to stay a utility easement and it's never gonna become a road?
It's a private road, you mean? Utility easement.
Yeah, I want to make sure that that utility easement never in the future becomes a road that would eventually connect into Pine.
We can certainly, I don't know if that language is there or not, but that's certainly something that we can request that we put in.
25 years down the road, I mean, you know, we're not here, but all of a sudden it's a real cumbersome. People aren't turning around, they're turning around in driveways. There's this easement, the utilities are there. It may seem like a good fit, and I really would like language that the utility easement never become a road. So you cannot have connection from Lake to Pine. Right.
I'm gonna be here all along.
Okay.
Okay, so but that's the private driveway of number 2.
Yeah, it's an easement though.
Okay. Right.
And once it becomes an easement and there's utilities there, like I said, this is stuff that can happen 50 years from now. I just want to make sure that there is language that never becomes a road.
Okay.
Your driveway is.
It comes off Pine.
It's all the way over on the east side
Comes off.
of your property, the one that accesses on
Yeah.
Pine. So lot 2 there, it
I mean,
doesn't,
that like, yeah, goes, it's not big enough to ever do that, I don't think, but yes, I can certainly address that.
And then I still have that water main issue. Mark or Bill, do you have any comments?
Oh, this is
No.
Bill. I do not have any comments.
Yeah, this is Mark. The only comment I have is that, Benchmark engineers, they've laid this out. They're above the floodplain. You know, these are buildable by definition lots. But I think all the questions you all have raised are very good ones. So good job, all.
Jeff, I went back when I was looking at these plans and looked at my notes from when they first approached us about it. And the recommendations that I had noted that we didn't like the cul-de-sac. We didn't want a road dead ending in there. We wanted a T on both ends to give snowplows and people a place to turn around. And I think that's a better use of a road end than just dead ending like it does into the 2 units. And I thought that had been one of the stipulations that
there is a small T.
there is.
Yeah, when you hit the end, when you come in, you can turn left to go to units 1, 3.
Yeah, but at the end
4.
of lot 1 and lot 6, it just dead ends into them.
Right,
And we had recommended that there be a T there on each end.
no, we recommended that there be a T at the end of the road headed south. The large thing going from lots 1 to 6, that is the T.
Because according to my notes, that was there, and there was a cul-de-sac at 1, a cul-de-sac at 1. And we said they could take that out if they put in a T there. So that there would be a turnaround space.
The whole thing came in as a cul-de-sac and it took up quite a bit more room. This was the change that they made to get rid of the cul-de-sac and add the T that's currently there. Because the cul-de-sac, there was no turn right to go to 6. 6 came out to the cul-de-sac.
Right.
Everything came out and fronted on the cul-de-sac. And that was the change. If we required them to put, because remember, the T intersection, each part of that has to be 60 feet wide. So if we have them add another T on the end of the T they have, that's 60 feet on each end that they're gonna lose to road right of way. And that would make several of the lots. I don't think they would have room to have the 6 lots, not that I'm encouraging one way or the other.
Okay. And John, your comments had mentioned that lot 6, in your opinion, was unbuildable.
Yes,
Do you agree with what Benchmark says here? Because to me, it seems 6 and I think 5 is questionable.
we thought that 6 was unbuildable, 5 had potential for buildability, but we had recommended that the road be shoved a little bit to the north to make some additional property on number 5 more buildable. A best practice is that when you start getting in excess of 18%, 18 degrees of slope, you're running into slope instability issues. And the reason why you don't have that now is because of all the vegetation. When you start regrading these properties and taking some of the vegetation out, you may end up with soil instability. So our office took a look at it. And, there was the idea that maybe they could do a walk-in or a walkout basement. But number 6, the grades are, in our opinion, so severe that we don't think lot 6 is buildable.
Can I ask a question? Because when Jeff and I talked about it, he was under the assumption that you thought they were 5-foot contours.
Well, they're 2 foot.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
No,
So, okay.
even at the 2 foot contours, you're talking pretty significant slopes. Some of the slopes are in excess of 45% in some areas.
Well, as I mentioned, it is now staked, the buildable area. So if you wanted to go up and look at that, you're.
And obviously benchmark disagrees with you.
Yeah, and my other concern is that we keep talking about, there used to be a railroad that ran through there and that bed was the high water mark, and that was basically over 100 years ago, and I don't think that we should be using that as a standard with, we had to change the things for the new high water with all the drain running underneath 119, and I just think it's iffy to be building in that area. Whether
This, if I'm correct, Benchmark has included the new updated FEMA floodplain information. So this is showing the current floodplain levels here.
Who has the oversight of the stability of the slope when a builder goes in to build? Whose responsibility is it to make sure that we're not, the builder isn't doing something that makes it unstable? Is it the building department or?
Well, they're gonna have to get a soil erosion and sedimentation permit from the county, and it's gonna be up to the county if there's a violation of that, if there's a slope instability.
So it's the county that.
Well, the county's the
oversees
one that's gonna issue that permit.
it. Okay, 1 second.
Mark, do you have a comment or a question?
Yes, I just wanted to follow up on John's comment. I mean, those are very steep slopes, especially on 6. I'm in agreement with him. So perhaps we should consider adding some language of some type that they do have to provide for approval a stabilization plan or for construction. And, because that's when a lot of damage happens is during construction, and also in a plan to be approved, like a final landscaping plan that will address those steep slope concerns, because a lot of the steep slopes going out M119, the issues they had going out 119 by some of the developers who did the work out there, has caused the county to put in the steep slope ordinance, where they actually prohibit you from building on the steep slopes in the overlay district, unless you have no other option. But I think we could add in some language. Jeff, is that possible? To have an approved construction soil stabilization plan in addition to what they have to do for the county, and also to have an approved landscaping plan based on criteria for stabilization. Or is that overreach?
That's a good question, and I'm gonna defer to John.
Mark, I think you could require it, but then it's gonna be the enforceability of it. Who's gonna be the enforcement agent of the slope stabilization plan? I think the other issue that it's kind of a wonky or gray area. Jeff's aware of this because we've talked about it, is that Benchmark Engineering is the city engineer, but then they also represent private parties. So you can't, in my opinion, you can't put one head on take the other one off. You have to represent one group or the other. And
Oh,
that's, and that's my concern with the email is, and I'm not saying that they're wrong, they have their own professional opinion. We have our own professional opinion, and we say that lot 6, it's unbuildable, and if you do build on it, you're gonna have some problems with it.
Mark?
Especially-
You have a comment? Mark?
Well, I guess I understand what you're saying. The enforcement would be an issue. I know with the county steep slope ordinance, they have the enforcement all built into that. Yeah, this is a tough one.
It's, it is not the norm to have the city engineer also be the engineer for
That's
private
why
development.
our policy has been in those cases where we would have our city engineer review something. In the cases where Benchmark is the engineer working for the property owner, that we have then in place of Benchmark reviewing it. We have, because our plan,
And John's group is saying 6 is unbuildable. So take what you want from the Benchmark email. But the way that the city works is that they went to another engineering firm, and that engineering firm is questioning 5 and does not believe 6 is buildable. Mark?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about that because it's, I just wonder what type, if any type of liability the city gets exposed to, because then we're in, 2 different professional opinions. Yeah, that's a tough one. And I don't know how much
And
authority we have.
that's
How much
typically
authority,
why,
how much authority do we
communities
have?
separate them.
I'm
much
sorry,
what,
say that
Mark?
again. I just wonder how much
That's why
authority does the
Communities
city have?
separate. How much authority? Does the
Much
city have?
responsibility.
How much responsibility? Probably, yeah, that's what.
Because I just wonder, do we get ourselves in a position, well, they have different options, the way they could develop this land. Nobody says they has to have 6 lots. That's what they want. They're developers. So of course they want to maximize their money. That's normal. As far as building technology, building on a slope like that, I mean, it certainly has been done. They build houses off the cliffs in California. They do all sorts of stuff. But California has very strict laws, building code laws that control that. I don't know if we have those in place in our county right now.
Bill, you had your hand up, you took it down. Did you mean to take it down?
yeah, but I would like to say something or ask something.
Please.
And that is, this is making me question, what is the city's responsibility regarding protecting a future home buyer builder in this condo association from a steep slope? Is it our responsibility to try to identify problems that they might have in the future and protect them from it? Or is that something to be resolved between the home builder, the developer, and the home buyer?
But isn't it the planning commission's responsibility to not, I don't know quite the right words, to not okay a non-buildable lot? Because it's a lot of record, then you have to allow it to be built on. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, I think the differentiation you have to make is technically dimensionally, it's a buildable lot. But then when you apply the slopes to it and the grades, then it becomes unbuildable.
I think the responsibility is huge. If you say they can't do this, that's one thing. If you say they can, and you, in essence, give them permission, okay it, whatever, and they do, you open the door for somebody to walk in here and say, you said I could do this and my foundation broke, or my walls are cracking, and we depended on the city to tell us, and they did.
I don't,
So if you say yes to this, you open the door.
I think everything we do boils down to the health, safety and welfare of the community. And I think we have two ways that we can look at this. The first way is, can they build on that property, maintaining the zoning regulations that we have for those properties? And that would be, are we creating a site that they can build on, or would they have to ask for a variance to be able to do something on that? The other aspect is the health, safety and welfare of the greater community. Are we creating a lot that by them building on it would cause damage to the flood plain, which could then affect other properties if there was a flood?
That's our.
I think those are our
concern.
two things that we can look at for determining if this is something that we should approve, or if there are conditions that we should apply, or if it's something that we can't approve as it is, and ask them to redraft documents that might fix some of the issues that we feel need to be fixed.
I personally am struggling with saying this is okay when our planning consultant says this isn't okay. I mean, that for me, I struggle with that because I'm not the expert. I mean, I depend on them, and if their engineers say this really isn't a buildable lot, then I'm gonna have a struggle with saying it is a buildable lot. I don't have anything to base that on. So for myself personally, I think trying to get 6 lots in here with the way this property is creating a problem. Maybe if there were 4 lots or maybe 5, it might be a better solution. I don't know if that works for you guys. I understand wanting to maximize, but if I can't feel good about saying okay to a lot, then I'd be told it's not a buildable lot when the plan is to put a house on it.
The solution is if you go to the doctor and you get 2 different opinions, what do? You get a third opinion, right? So that's what's required, and nothing personal.
Well, that's fine.
But you need to get it, you've got a tie here, you gotta get a tiebreaker, and you have to bring an engineer in from, Charlevoix, perhaps.
Well, and it's just the way that it's written, we can't look at benchmarks.
I would like to say, the makeup of the ground, and you talk about taking the trees out, and I do know what I'm talking about as well in construction. A lot of those trees are dead, hollow, falling down. They're in very bad repair. They're not holding that ground together. And I know because it's our land and we live there, and trees come down every year, 2 or 3. I'll take you there tonight if you want, chain one down, and you'll see they're not great trees. We can make that better.
Okay, we have reached out to your tree expert, Ben Vealing. He has not come back to us. We have spoken to Mark Johansson has come through and walked the property with us, saying that most of these trees are dead.
Come and see it yourself. You see that, you're always be your judge.
So, I mean, that's just like interest.
And when you come back, make up a ground.
I mean, I don't.
It's true.
Oh,
But you need to ask them.
so if we're not comfortable with this, can we table
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
If we table it, we
need to
should
give
table
them
it
some-
requesting them.
Right.
I would say if we have a specific concern regarding something and we need
Yes.
more information.
Yes,
Then what we should do is table it for a set specific amount of time to provide them to gather that information, whether it's you want them to gather it or the city to gather it, and come back to the next meeting to present that new information.
We can't vote on this tonight anyhow, can we?
oh, yeah.
You could.
we've got
This
more.
one, yeah.
We do have a quorum of
Yeah.
5?
We have a quorum for 5.
So I'll just take a go at it, that we would like to table this. And that we would like information, another opinion on lot 6
And 5.
and 5.
Would you like them to get that
Yeah,
third opinion?
or-
us?
We should get it.
We should get it.
We should get it.
And I would like to know as much about the drain and its banks as about building houses there. I want to know what's going to happen in the future to all that infrastructure, the banks, the sides, the bottom.
Yeah, but we just wouldn't get that because they're not designing the houses. They're just asking for a lot split. And so because we're unsure of 6 and 5, we just don't know how many lots to split. So I would like from the city why the utilities are not looped.
I'll confer with
Thank you.
Lucas to find out, if what they've proposed is acceptable or if there needs to be a modification.
I have emails from Lucas saying that he has approved it. Benchmark has them. So we can forward those to you, but you can check again.
It should be looped. It should be.
It should be looped. I don't care who says they approved it. It should be looped.
It should be an 8-inch water main to serve 5
Huge.
lots is huge.
It's huge.
I mean, you're talking 8-inch water main.
Going smaller?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So this is a huge water main and I just gave maybe the excuse that it was Eagle that was requiring it, but it's very large and it's not looped and I don't understand it. And I would like to know.
I agree with Vanessa.
You would like to know what's coming someday that requires a main that size.
Well, yeah. Well, it could be, the reason why it could be 8 is because they know the water's gonna get stagnant.
Then why isn't it looped?
Then, so, and if you loop it, then you go down smaller.
And that would be the weird.
Of course,
And
it's
that's to your
it's to your advantage. You
Yeah.
don't want 6 to be sitting with stagnant water and you want them to have great water pressure. So it's not against you, it's for you. You want this. And I don't understand why it isn't here.
So let me clarify. So we have a motion from Vanessa Warren to table this to you want to do it to the October 19th planning commission meeting? With a request that we look into the water line size and whether it should be looped and the engineering of the slope with 5 and 6.
As long as we can get that information.
As long as we can get that information in time.
Yeah.
And then what about the trees? It sounds like they've reached out to folks for trees. They could bring that then.
Are we asking, I know there are some dead trees up there. I mean, I've been up in that area. So why
Okay,
does that
No.
create, I don't think that's really something, I think we're more concerned about the stabilization once things get going.
Yeah.
And the dead trees probably, they're not adding to the stabilization. I don't think we really need to know what kind of trees are here specifically.
Do we have a motion? Do
I'll
we have a
second that.
second? Emily?
The biggest thing is that for us, with a lot split, we're uncomfortable with 5 and 6. So that's really the main issue.
Correct.
Planning.
I'm gonna do a roll call. Nancy Ron. No,
Yes.
Bob Thoma,
Yes.
Emily DeVay,
yes.
Vanessa Warren,
Yes,
Rick Tarczynski.
Yes.
Motion passes.
The issue with the water main may not seem as important as you think, but we have areas in town, I'm a firefighter, where when we have to pump water, we have to call the night number at the treatment plant and have them boost pressure to Harbor Springs to the almost harmful level in normal structures, so we don't collapse mains. Because the engines can suck water out of the mains faster than the municipality can deliver it. And the reason is that they're old 4-inch mains. Downtown was one of those areas until we just redid all that. But yeah, we can't supply enough water to fight a fire.
To be honest, this is the first I've heard about it.
Yeah.
You use 1.5 to 2-inch pipe work for
Oh, no.
anything more than 5-6 inches, so yeah, that's plenty of pressure.
A modern fire engine would
thank you.
collapse that in a matter of days.
So thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for talking with us and hearing out our concerns, and we look forward to seeing you next month. Thank you.
So wait, sorry, I was just gonna ask when they're going.
Oh.
Is that time?
So we have-
They can't, is it causing your?
Well, we're hopeful that you'll be back here next month, but they need to reach out and find that engineer and we'll
John,
see.
you'll have a check before that.
Yeah.
Sorry, John.
John.
John, I did see that. So you'll make sure that you've had a second opinion.
Oh, yes, yes, we will.
Yep. I have a new task for tomorrow.
Okay, so Mark has asked to be moved up in the agenda, which is the Harbor Master Building, is that correct?
Yeah, and I'm just going to that now. Let me.
And then also, Jeff, is it safe to say that Barry probably is not going to be here?
We don't want Amanda.
I don't want her to just, yeah,
Yeah, at this point, I apologize, Amanda.
Counted or not.
no,
No.
we're sorry,
So that means I have to wait until the next meeting.
yes.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
Can I ask why the people on Zoom don't count? Because on other board members, like they're allowed to be counted in. I've been on board of directors and we've been able to count them. They're.
That may be a nonprofit, but
Yeah.
state statute requires that. They can discuss and listen, but they cannot vote. They have to be here in person.
They did make a temporary allowance at the beginning of COVID, I think for about 18 months. We were allowed to count them, and then that sunsetted, and they chose not to redo that. Which is unfortunate.
Okay, so what are the chances, like what is a normal where we don't have enough, what are the chances? Because obviously this holds up a lot of things for me, so.
It's not normal that we don't have our 6. There's 9 people on the planning commission. Unfortunately, 3 of them were not here today, and that's 4 did not show up.
Can we try and do a special meeting?
We could aim for a special meeting 2 weeks from now.
It's not much, but it's something.
I will try I just have a lot of account old enough, because I can't just step to the next thing, and obviously this is something that wasn't really planned, because I'm new to Partner Springs, so I'm trying to.
We could try and do have a special meeting on October 5th. It
Yes,
could be earlier in the day, or
Thursday, October. Isn't there?
could we do it next week?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We just have to post the thing. We've already advertised for the special land hearing.
Okay.
So as long as we have a motion tonight setting the date, we don't have to re-advertise. So could we do it on the 28th?
I think so. If you want.
I will not be here.
I will not be here, but if you can get, and she won't be here, so we're in a problem.
Sorry. October 5th.
I can do October 5th.
Is that our open house? What are the hours?
What
we do?
open house?
For the,
No,
Oh, I thought it was,
no, 9th, 10th.
12.
he moved that back.
Yeah, I just looked,
okay,
Yes, so
so the 5th could work.
Mm-hmm.
I get back in the country the night before, but I should be back. I will be here.
Bill, Mark, do you know if you will be available on the 5th for a special meeting?
This is Bill. October 5th works great for me. Anytime. of the day.
This is Mark. I just found out today I have to be back. I'm heading back tomorrow from Utah, but I have to be back out here on the 4th, 5th, and 6th. So I will not be able to attend that meeting.
They're non-Thursdays or the only Thursdays you do meetings?
We try and aim for Thursday just because, like that Monday is city council. There's other boards that meet on other days.
Either way, it's fine.
Wednesday could potentially work.
Yeah, why don't we just set it for next month? I mean, I don't want to set this and then people not here.
Okay.
And we don't have Barry, we know, to ask, and we don't have Mark. We have somebody that's coming into town the night before, which could easily get travel problems. So let's just go to the next one.
Okay. Could we do want a motion for that because this is a public hearing?
Okay, can someone help me out? Can I have a motion?
Motion to table to the October 19th.
Regular schedule.
Heard that from Bob Thomas? Who seconded?
I did.
We can do an all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, it happened.
Okay.
It happened. Okay, the Harbor Master Building, Jeff, would you like to give us a background?
I believe, and tell me online on Zoom if I do not have the screen shared right, but I believe I have pulled up the plans for the Harbor Master Building.
Yes.
The city's been working with Mark today on this. They've had a lot of discussion and they've come up with a plan to remodel the existing building and add an addition. And I think I'll hand this over to Mark to really fill us in more.
Mark?
Okay, can you guys hear me all right?
The video waiting.
Yes. Can you guys hear me okay? Hello?
I think battery died. Hold on one second.
Hello? Can you guys hear me? Hello? Dang it.
You sound great to me, Mark.
Hello? Are you guys there? Hello? Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Is this waiting, Vivian?
I still can't hear. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm not getting anything
Before I
back.
went out.
Did it?
Yeah, I did. I'm waiting videos. I don't know.
Can you hear me now?
Here we go.
Good. I'll see if Mark's with us here.
Yeah. Mark, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, would you
Yes.
like to talk us through this, please?
Yeah, I've been trying to see if you guys could hear me. I can't hear anything from your side.
We could.
Okay, so this is a pretty simple little project. I was asked to do a little renovation in addition to allow a little bit of rework area in the existing Harbor Master building, where we took some existing bathrooms and turned them into a laundry space and a mechanical room. And then we added on more public bathrooms off to the one side that you can see. And we put 4 fixtures in each of the bathrooms, have a little bit of a screening. We try to keep it looking sort of like the original building, but freshen it up a little bit. And we are putting new siding on, new windows, new doors, just sort of really bringing it all up to date is what we're trying to do. And so we increased the size of the building a little bit. We try to keep it as small as possible. We meet all sizing requirements for ADA. So it's a pretty simple little project. And I think it meets, I had lots of meetings with staff at City Hall. Then I had some meetings with the Harbor Master Commission, and everybody has approved it. And I went to City Council, and they also liked it. They actually had City Council had us add back in, and we had reduced fixtures down to 3. City Council had us put back in the 4th, which I think was a good move. And so it's a pretty straightforward building. Do you all have any questions on it?
I do. I do. Can you
Go
hear
ahead.
me?
Yep.
What are the chances? I know there's not much concrete work, there's not much flat work on this job, but can you specify that the flat work that's done on this project be tooled architecturally instead of slammed onto the ground and cut with a partner saw the next day?
Yes, we can do that.
Go down to Ford Park and take a look at the concrete work we paid for down there,
Yeah.
and you'll be as embarrassed as I am.
Yeah, we can have that done without any
Yeah.
problem.
Let's-
We're
let's-
working with,
let's-
Benchmark, they're the site consultants on this. And so we'll coordinate that with them to make sure that we have some nice flat work. And I think
Yeah.
the other thing they're talking about, and it's not really part of this project, but the city council talked about running sidewalks around the parking lots and stuff like that, because there are no real pedestrian pathways down along the waterfront. We just have all the parking. And so I think that's something that's being addressed and talked about. But
Yeah, it
I
would be
agree,
nice.
I agree with you, Bob.
Yep, it would be nice to have a plan and turn the corner here and begin to produce some decent concrete instead of what we've been getting.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
can do that.
Any other, I have a question. Yep. Why is this at planning? Just to look at the external, I'm just curious.
No,
why.
this is a little bit different than what you've seen before.
Yeah.
The state statute, the Planning Enabling Act 33 of 2008 requires that when there's a street, a square, a park, a playground, anything that is financed by the municipality as a capital project has to go before the planning commission, so the planning commission can determine that if it's consistent with the master plan. Okay, now, to take it one step further, once the planning commission, if they render it, that it is consistent, then their recommendation goes to council. And then council's the one that implements the plan. If the planning commission votes that the project is inconsistent with the master plan, then it takes a 2/3 vote of the city council to override that and then proceed with the project. So this is not a site plan review.
Right.
This is just a determination on your behalf, on your end, if it's consistent with the community master plan.
Well, I think it is.
Yeah.
I know it is.
So with that said,
I would move to, the planning commission approve the capital improvement associated with the extension of the harbor master building as stated in our packet.
I'll second it.
Let's do a roll call. Rick Darchinsky,
Yes.
Vanessa Warren,
yes.
Emily Dubay,
Yes.
Bob Thoma,
Yeah.
Nancy Rondell.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you all. Have a nice evening.
You too.
If I lose you, I'm gonna try to stay on as long as I can.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
We understand.
Yep, thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, the final,
Yeah, the last things, thank you for your patience. We have the site plan review for 130 State Street, which is the Little Harbor Boat.
yes.
So my understanding, and I think that the architect is here. But my understanding is they're talking about scraping the tennis court area and resurfacing all of that and making some changes there. There won't be dramatic changes from what's there today. They're just redoing things. There is the addition of 2 bathroom buildings. Is that correct, Dave? Oh, Jed's here too, right? Yeah. So if you guys want to talk about what you'd like to do? Sure. I'll pull stuff up here. Yeah. Back.
So, as Jeff says, really the impact is minimal. It's pretty much the exact same thing besides 2 bathhouses. The new pool in the same exact spot, it's actually smaller. 6 hard true courts in the exact same spots. Same entry out Traverse Street, same surrounding landscape along both borders. Same utilities are in place. Just scraping and cleaning and removing 2 different pools in there and 3 layers of tennis courts.
Did I read that the tennis courts are gonna be clay?
Hard true clay. They're currently clay.
Oh, they are?
Mhm.
Okay, so it's just remove and replace with the same material.
Exact same thing.
So we're looking at it because of the bathroom addition? Is that?
Why are we looking at this?
Yeah.
Well, I think there's 2 folds. So, and Jed, you're also adding, there's gonna be storage underneath the pool area.
Yep.
That'll be something new.
Surrounding it.
Surrounding. I think primarily, the physical changes to the property when the project is done are fairly minimal. There's the addition of the 2 bathroom buildings, which you can see here on the north side of the drawing. From what we're looking at, it's actually the west side, as it's there. But we felt that because of the overall scope of the project and how much work will be going on, we wanted to make sure that we came to the planning commission to just review that. Because the actual impact to the community while the work is going on may be substantial, will certainly involve utilizing public parking spots for the vehicles and construction and stuff like that, to make sure that we had an opportunity to look at it and discuss.
Jen, it's already gone.
50%.
Yeah.
They've
A lot of
started
It's already gone.
demolition, yeah.
John, you reviewed this. Do you have any?
I think the biggest issue, it wasn't what, you know, they're, like Jeff said, they're scraping and replacing. It was, nothing in the application talked about construction phasing and where they're gonna put materials and where the contractors are gonna park. And it's a kind of a confined site, so I think that's really the reason why we wanted to bring it before the planning commission. So maybe they can talk about that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Staging will be on our parking that we own on Hankey Street. We own that entire parking strip. Parking will be in the corner of Hankey and Bay Street as well, where staging will take place in dumpsters, and then any staging materials that we need to hold will put in our south parking that borders the Harbor Point Association, all owned by Florida.
So nothing will be done that encumbers any of the public right away.
Nope, there'll be no
So
construction,
there'll be nothing on Traverse Street.
nothing to do with us. There's plenty of activity up there that doesn't involve us.
We just wanted that in the public record.
Yeah.
There is no construction access from Traverse Street.
Okay.
The construction access is coming in off of Hankey and Bay at the corner, out of our lot, which we will be, by the time it's done, just throwing it into paving. So that'll be all handled internally.
We did receive a couple of comments regarding the hours of construction, but I believe Victor's already reached out to you and you've addressed that issue.
There's a monumental amount of demolition to be done. There's an Olympic swimming pool that we found on the outside of the current swimming pool. Yeah, it's great. And then there is not one, but 2 layers of tennis courts from previous years. So, you know, the old shingle roof mentality, just keep going over top of it. And now we're having to go through the whole thing. So it's a monumental amount of demolition to be done, and snow comes quick. So I'm pushing as hard as we can, but we'll be respectful of hours and times.
What will the hours of construction be?
So the hours of, we have an exception in our noise ordinance that allows construction machinery and equipment to exceed the decibel limit, but only during the hours of 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday. There's no exception on Sundays. They can still do work outside of that. They just cannot exceed the noise level.
Victor and I did talk about it, and I wasn't here this weekend and did not understand it was jackhammering on Sunday. But appreciative that they were jumping on the bit at the same time, didn't know it was gonna go on. So.
But you let them know.
Yep.
Yeah.
They couldn't have a variance on occasion to do specific things on Sunday or after hours.
Well, they can do things as long as they don't
Exceed
Exceed that noise.
So they can do a certain amount of work on Sundays. They just can't use really loud materials on Sunday.
Ever been on a heavy construction site?
Yeah.
We're hoping the majority of the demolition will be done next week or so, and the really big jackhammering, loud stuff that irritating, and trust me, I'm trying to work in front of buildings now.
Lots of trucks on the road, loaded really heavy, because they come by our house and Main Street, of course, and it's not just your project.
There's
There's so many
It's
going
every-
on
it's
right
every-
now.
it's everywhere.
It's
We had it at 4 o'clock in the morning, just the other
Yeah,
day.
it's just.
Yeah, there's a ton. Like I said, there's
Right.
plenty of
Yeah.
traffic on Traverse Street for other projects and.
Yeah.
all,
There's just a lot going on in town right
Yeah.
now, and a lot of it's heavy rubble at the moment.
Heavy.
Yeah, really heavy.
So the issues that we wanted to make sure we got on record, we got on record.
Yeah, so no parking on the public streets.
No parking on the public streets. You're not storing any of the spoils. Nope. Okay.
We have plenty of staging room as well, because the tennis court we put in the spring. So
So
we
you've got
have
that.
all that
So
land mass. and
You
stage.
can utilize that as well.
That's good.
Okay, so we need a motion. Do
Make a motion that we accept this.
we have a second?
I'll second it. Sure. It's obviously a very well thought out where everything's gonna be.
And if there's any questions or anybody thinks, certainly feel free to call me, happy to answer anything, or if there's something that somebody notices or hears something, give us a buzz, we're happy to take care of it.
We'll do a roll call vote. Emily Dubay,
We want to know if there's going to be a pool party.
I never know.
Bob Nolan,
Yes.
Nancy Rondo,
Yes.
Rick Darchinsky,
Yes.
Vanessa Warren,
Yes.
motion passed.
Thank you very much.
It's gonna be nice to be when it's done.
And what was next on the agenda?
Member comments?
Yeah, we're through with new and old business on the member comments. And I'll throw in a comment unless Bill wants to add, but we did set dates for some public open houses.
Yes.
to Review some information, and I believe we sent out that to all the planning commission members and open house. And that's for sometime in October, and we will have the dates and times for that on the city website, and I think broadcast it on our Facebook page.
It's 9, 10, and 12, so just read the update. So,
Yeah, he just sent out. new
and
dates,
nice,
right?
yeah, nice time.
They're all over.
Yeah,
That was our goal, to try and hit multiple different time frames so that different people had the opportunity.
and I'm glad it's being recorded. I think that's really a good thing.
Okay, Emily, do you have any comments for tonight?
I don't. You did a wonderful job. Thank you.
Nancy,
I'm good, thanks.
I'm good.
You good job.
thank you. All right,
Mark or Bill?
Thanks for covering tonight, guys. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, good job.
absolutely.
Thank
Get better. We hope to see you soon. Safe travels, Mark.
Thank you. I'll be back Sunday. I gotta leave the week, come back out again. I'll be back for a little bit.
All right, bye all.
Bye all. Take care.
So do we have a motion